1 o'clock. Very good. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome on in here to our user group webinar where we will be talking about using the email features in the membership module of Church Windows. My name is Jim, and I'm coming to you live on an overcast day here in Columbus, Ohio. We are going to be spending the next 20 minutes or so getting into setting up the email features in the Church Windows membership module and then kind of using it to actually send emails to individuals or to groups using our program. Before we get started on all of this, a quick word about your GoToWebinar control panel that you should have on your screen. There is a small red button with an arrow on it in the upper left-hand corner of that window that you can use to either minimize that or maximize it. Minimizing it frees up a little more room so you can see what we're talking about here in our webinar today. Maximizing it gives you access to the features in there, most specifically the questions portion. I will be unlikely to be able to hit on any questions as I'm going through with the presentation here today, but after the presentation is over, again in about 20 minutes, I will leave this webinar room open to answer any questions that you have about the email features in membership. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and talk about this. Okay, so Church Windows membership currently has the ability to log in to an existing email account using the SMTP protocol. Basically, that means it's an email account that you can access from the internet, like a Yahoo account or a Gmail account, or really any email that you can get to with a internet web portal. So you can set up Church Windows to talk to one of those types of email accounts, and then you can compose and send emails to anybody in the Church Windows membership module that you have recorded an email for them. Okay, so where we will be getting started here is hooking Church Windows into your SMTP email account. So there are a couple of places you can get to this from. We're going to go by opening your reports menu here in the membership module and clicking on email right here. This takes you to a window that will say step 1. You don't see it on here. This is normally where you do your searches for who's going to receive the email, but I'm just going to click next here because what we need to get access to is here in the upper left-hand corner, this email settings section right here. This is where we're going to hook Church Windows into your email account. If you had one set up, clicking on the down arrow here would show the email accounts that you've been able to link the Church Windows program to. To create a new one, you click on this little green plus button over to the right of that. That takes you to this window, the Setup SMTP Email. There's going to be 2 steps you're going to go through here, hooking Church Windows into an existing email account. Basically, the first thing we're going to do is right here underneath Outgoing Mail Server, where we make sure that Church Windows can actually talk to the computer or computers out on the internet that are hosting email addresses. Once that has been done, then you basically set everything up down below this line here where you're actually logging in to an existing email account that is on that server. So you start by typing in a display name that you're going to see on the drop-down list underneath email setting. I'll set up an email account for the webinar. I'm calling it webinar email. Then the next step we're going to do is hook into the outgoing mail server. Again, we're going to click on this small green plus button over to the right of that, which takes us to this SMTP server window here. One thing I do want to kind of point out here, as you're going through all of these screens in this Setup SMTP windows here, you're going to see a bunch of these little question mark buttons next to each of the fields. There's going to be little helpful tooltips for the different things on these windows that you can take a look at. So this is the server address for your email server. SMTP is a language for communicating on the internet for emails. It stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. So what we're going to do here, the account that we are going to be setting up is a Gmail account. So that is the SMTP host address for Gmail accounts. The stuff below this is all for various security settings. Port 587 is the one we are going to be using for this, and the explicit SSL or security type is the one we'll be using for that. You see we've got a couple of different options on here. For information about how to set this up for your email account, you may need to contact your internet service provider or whomever hosts your email account. You can also probably just use whatever search engine you prefer and find that information on the internet as well. Server timeout, this section here, we're going to leave that at 0. That just means Church Windows is going to send these emails as quickly as it can. Certain internet service providers have settings where they don't prefer you to send emails out that quickly, because Church Windows is going to send these one at a time if you're going to send a large group of these emails out. So if you need to set a time between each email that you send out, you can set that there. I'm going to leave it at default of 0 seconds. Once you've got all of this stuff set up in here, you click your Perform Connection Test, and you get a little message here. Gotcha. We already have this set up under here. Okay. Let's go ahead and select that and edit that then. We already had one saved in our database here. That was my mistake. Sorry about that. Once you've got these things set up, you'll see these are the same settings we had just a moment ago. When you click Perform Connection Test, Church Windows is going out to the internet and trying to talk to that Gmail server. You'll get a message like this: connection test was successful. You'll get it if everything is set up properly. This does not guarantee you'll be able to send emails, because there's more work to do with this. But this just says Church Windows can see that computer. When you click OK, the button will turn green here, and then you'll be able to click OK to save that from here. So from there, you're going to now work on this information down below. You're going to actually give Church Windows the information about the specific email account that you're going to be sending these emails from. Okay. And I think, nope, we do not. Okay, so we're going to create a new one here. So when you click on your green plus button here underneath From Email Address, it's going to ask you to type in the email address that you're going to use. So we are going to use, we've got a sample one here. So you type in whatever email account you're using there. That's the email address it's sending from. What you've got here where it says name or organization name, when the email arrives in your member's inbox, this is what's going to be listed underneath From, in the From field there. So it'll be listed your church name there, or you can edit that if you wish to from here. So once you do that, it fills in the rest of the information down below under here. Your username is the email address, and then you need to fill in your password right here. Whatever that appropriate password is from there. Underneath here where it says reply to email address, you can set it up so that when one of your members receives your email that you sent, out of Church Windows, when they click the reply button, you can have their reply go to a different destination than where you sent the email from if you wanted to. It will default to coming back to the same email account that you're sending these emails from. So I'm going to leave that default, but you can edit that by clicking on the little yellow pencil button over to the right. Once you've got all of this stuff set up, now it's time to see if Church Windows has the ability to log into that email account and then send that corresponding email. You do that by clicking on this Send Test Email button here. It's going to ask you to enter an email address you have access to. So this is going to be an email account you're going to check and make sure that the test email was sent. So you type in whatever email address you wish to use there. And it tries to log in and send that email. Hopefully you'll get this message here. You should receive an email into your email account from your church. So when you get this message, that means you have successfully connected church windows into an existing email account. This process here sometimes goes very smoothly. Sometimes people hit a few speed bumps along the way. Just so that you guys know, the email that you're going to receive when you get that test email is going to look like this right here. I just made a PDF of what it looks like. It's going to have this email was sent by your church name. The email test for email statements was successful. That's all you'll get when you get that email sent to you. Once you're all set with that, you'll see your email setting is properly configured right there. That's the majority of the hard work right there. Once Church Windows is hooked into that email account, you'll be all set to start sending from our program. So there's a couple of different places you can go to do that. You can send it to individuals right from your membership members or your membership visitors screen. You can also set up Church Windows to send out emails to particular groups as well. So we'll start by taking a look at how to send an email to an individual. I'm going to go ahead and open up my members window from here. If there's a particular member that you want to locate here, you can click on your Find button right here and type in their name in the name field over here. Just so happens the record I want to use was that one we started on, but you can find them like this. Press the Enter key on your keyboard and it will take you directly to their record. As long as they do have an email address on their record, as Jack does right here, you can use this button right up here at the top of the window. Boom, right there. To compose an email and send it just to that individual. When you click on that little email button, it takes you to the Step 2 window. Looks very similar to that other window we were on there, only in this case it's only going to show that one person's record on the drop-down. Where it says Email Setting in the upper left-hand corner, if it's not already filled in, you'll need to click on the down arrow and select the format that you've already created. So we've already done the work for this. That's the email address it's going to use to send these. Once that's selected, now you're ready to compose your email. You do that underneath right here where it says Custom Email Message. Creating a new email is done by clicking on that little green plus button over to the right. And that will take you to this window right here where you can go ahead and compose your email. Works just like most standard email compositions here. You start by filling in your subject from here. Our example here is we're having an anniversary for our church, and we're sending out this email to let folks know about it. Fill in the body of your email here, as I have done right there. There are a number of controls you've got up at the top. You can set your fonts, including the size, bold it, and do all of those normal things that you can do from there. There's also a tab along the top here, which is the Insert tab, where you can include tables or attach files, or even include pictures in the body of your email. By clicking there. So if there's an attachment you want to include, you can click on the attach file right there. So there's a couple of things you can do. Once you've got your email composed on here, there's a couple of things you can do. There is another menu, which is this little button. Let me highlight it right here. This menu button this menu tab right here gives you a couple of different options on what you can do with that email you've composed. You can save this format by clicking on the Save button right here. This is going to be if this is an email format you wish to reuse in the future. So if this is something you might want to send to different people, or if it's something that you regularly send out, you can save this format. If it's something that you're only going to send this one time, you don't necessarily need to save it. In fact, I encourage you not to save it. If it is not something that you want to reuse, you simply click the Send Email right here. For this case, I'm going to go ahead and save it just because I want to show you how that works, but this isn't the type of email you maybe wouldn't normally save, but you could simply send it by clicking here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my Save button to show you how to save these formats. Gives you a message that says, a pop-up window that says message was saved right here. When I click OK, if I close out of here, now here where it says custom email message, you'll see if you click on the little down arrow next to this, all of the different saved email formats that you've got from there. So you can click on that there. The other thing that you can do right here from this step 2 window is you can set up an email signature right here that appears at the bottom of your emails. You can have multiple signatures that you save here in Church Windows if you've got different people that send them out of our program. And normally if you click on the down arrow, you would see all of the different signatures you have on this drop-down list. Creating a new one is done by clicking on the green plus button over to the right of that. Title of this, signature. And then that's just the title that'll appear on that drop-down list. In the field below this is where you actually set up your signature that'll appear there. Whatever you want your signature to be, you simply type that stuff in here. And again, you can change your fonts and things along those lines. You can similarly go to the Insert tab, insert symbols or pictures in that as well. Once you're done filling in your signature, you can save that on the drop-down list here. So again, you can select a particular signature over here where it says custom email signature. It will put that at the bottom of the body of your email. Once you're all set with this, you're ready to send it, you simply click on Send Email here, and it will connect to your email account and send that out. It'll give you a message that looks like this: email completed. Click OK to view the results. If you click OK here, it takes you to a little print preview window telling you how your email went. Hopefully, it gives you a little warning message about how it could have been blocked by spam filters and things along those lines. Then it gives you a section below all of the emails that were sent. It just selects the whole thing. Will be listed right here. Sent message details. It'll give you each individual email that was successfully sent below that. If you sent a large group of them, you'll see a series of lines under there. And if any of them failed, they will be listed underneath where it says failed message details right here. So hopefully there won't be any listed under there. Okay. So again, that's sending an email to an individual. You simply find their name under membership members and use the little email button at the top. Sending out an email to a group of folks is done on your reports menu where it says email right here. This will take you to your step 1 window where you do your search for which folks you want to send this email to. In the upper left-hand corner of this window where it says select a membership field, make selections and add selection, easy for me to say. If you click on your down arrow there, you can search by any criteria out of your membership module. It could be status to send this email to active members, for example. In this case, I'm going to go to groups and classes. And I'm going to send this to some of my committees and send an email to my finance committee and my trustees and this ad hoc committee I've created. I'm going to click OK there and then click our green plus selection to add that to our search. When I click on next, it generates a list of all of the folks that met my search who have email addresses on their records. So that takes you again to this step 2 window, which works in exactly the same way as the window we were just on a moment ago. You need to make sure that you select an email setting for the email account that you'll be sending these emails from. If you want to reuse an existing email message, again, you can click on your down arrow for custom email message and use one of those. Same with custom email. But again, if you wanted to compose a new one, you click on your green plus button right here to compose your new email. Once you're all set to go, you can either send it using the send email link on the drop down here, or by clicking on the send email button down here in the lower right hand corner. Okay, I'm not going to go ahead and send it to all of these folks because this is training data, and not all of these are real email addresses that we've got in our database here. But you would click your send email button and it would go through the process of sending them one at a time to each of the folks on your list here. And it would give you that report that we were looking at a moment ago that shows you all of your successfully sent emails and any emails that may have failed. Last thing I want to mention before the end of the presentation here today is this button right up here, this view sent email logs button right here, where you can go back into the history and look at all of the emails that you have successfully sent out of church windows. You may have a long list of them here. This functionally kind of works like your sent box if you haven't, if you're using Outlook, or if you log into many webmail clients, it'll be like a sent box kind of a thing. So you just select the date of the email that you sent and click on the small little piece of paper button over here to the right, and it'll give you that report that you had received when you sent the email originally. And that's all the time I've got for you guys here today. That is basically sending out emails and using the email features in the membership module. So thank you guys so much for joining me here today. If you're all set to get on with your day, feel free to click on the X in the upper right-hand corner of your GoToWebinar control panel. For folks who have any questions for me, I will leave the room open for a little while to answer any questions that you might have. Thanks for joining me, everybody.